All right, so I have a list so that I wouldn't forget anything. Um, TechCast, yay! So I get all the Apple news out of the way quickly. For those of you who don't care for Apple, basically Apple released a couple of software updates today. Important. First is iOS 4.3.2, which is got a bunch of bug fixes and security updates and fantastic stuff. So go ahead and click your little check for update button in iTunes after you've plugged your phone in, and you'll be good to go. Makes me harp on something I keep harping on, which is Apple, instead of bundling updates, makes you re-download the entire operating system, which is really shitty. Like, it's retarded. When you update OS X or Windows 7, you don't download the whole thing, you just patch it. And Apple needs to get on board. I mean, they could, you know, not to mention there are people in countries who have metered internet, so each time Apple releases an update, that is internet usage that is going towards an update instead of buying, say, you know, 10 iTunes albums. Um, and it's just wasteful. I mean, you know, it requires servers that are using electricity, and I mean, it's e-waste is basically what it is. And it must be lazy. I mean, I can't figure out why, if you can patch OS X, it's not like your team doesn't know how to patch, software. So get on that. But anyways, 4.3.2 out now. If you have a Verizon iPhone, it's 4.2.7. Hopefully, eventually, they're going to sync up releases, even if it's just numbers. Even if, like, there are software differences, iron them out, get everybody on the same number. That way, people are not like, oh my gosh, do I have the latest software? Yes, you do. Don't worry about it. Anyways, also, Safari 5.0.5 is out. So for those people who still use Safari, go ahead and grab that. Also, some iPhone 5 news. The iPhone 5 iPhones usually come out in the summer. They've traditionally come out during the summer. And it looks like with the next iPhone, we're not going to be following that trend. It's going to be either a fall phone or a holiday phone or even an early 2012 phone. So my best guess is September. My guess is that, and I read this somewhere and I agree, is that the iPod line's importance has gone down slightly. Well, greatly. The traditional iPad, or iPod, it's been replaced with like the iPod Touch. For me, it would make sense to roll all the iOS devices updates into one. So we're, unveiling new iPhones, new iPod Touches. Um, I think the iPads are big enough now that they can still have their own release date. But I think, iPod Touches, you can probably make that one event in the fall. Um, so I'd probably say their September event or August event, whichever. It's usually September. But anyways, that's the iPhone 5. Of course, just purely spitballing here, but my guess is that it's probably going to be, only minor changes, if any physical changes. Kind of like the iPhone 3G and the 3GS. I don't think they did any external changes, but they changed a bunch of the internals, and I expect the same thing. I expect, an A5 dual-core processor, probably more RAM. I mean, how do you improve the screen on the iPhone for better power consumption? I mean, maybe, a slight boost in the specs of the cameras, but other than that, I don't expect huge gains. I would like to see Apple finally put a, full HSPA plus chip in a phone. That way, as AT&T rolls out upgrades to their network, iPhones can start taking advantage. And then also I would expect, a Verizon LTE It'll be interesting to see. The problem with LTE chips now are, size and power consumption. So it'll be interesting to see, maybe that's why they bumped the event back so that they can do an LTE version. Because LTE, Verizon has the most popular LTE phone right now, but AT&T and T-Mobile are moving towards LTE. Well, I mean, T-Mobile's pretty much being acquired by AT&T at this point, but it'll be interesting to see if they have the right chipset for that. So, and if you're a developer, there's been an update to Xcode. Fun stuff. I don't even bother because it's a huge file, and I don't do any development work right now. But anyways, so that's going on. No new news on, what's going on with Lion. They did release the second beta, which is supposed to be more stable, but it's still not. It's still clearly a beta. So that's going on